What's going on, friends? Sean Don coming back with a technical analysis. This fine Friday morning, here we have Douglas Grace, a hammer thrower out of UW La Crosse. Good place to throw. Set my sophomore year hammer PR there at Nationals. Took fifth. Love to see it. Had a good time there. From what I've heard, La Crosse always has some great outdoor throwing rings, as I've experienced. But regardless, yeah. Uh, Douglas here is, I guess you could say redshirting. He doesn't have any eligibility indoors. He's finishing up a senior season, so he has outdoor eligibility. So he's just focusing on hammer. And from what I've seen from my throwers up in Wisconsin, that area, weather's been pretty nice. So outdoors, throwing hammer, love to see it. So we're going to take a look at that. And if you yourself are interested in an online coaching service of any kind, go check out my website, gripandrip.co. All right, keeping it short and sweet. Let's take a look, start ripping it. But yeah, Doug, you sent me two throws, and after seeing, you sent me two or three initially, but it was from the side view, and I thought a front view, a head-on view would be better for an analysis, and I'm glad I did so because this is definitely a lot more enlightening based on how your throw looked from the side. Your issues I thought you had were not as big of an issue in this camera view, but still a little bit of an issue. So we're going to talk through that and break it down and get to it. So this was, I think, both throws were pretty comparable, but this one I think just looked a little less good. So I think we're going to go with that and really hone in on what is going wrong, and then that will hopefully make your good throws better and your average throws good and your bad throws not so bad. But yeah, so you're starting, as you can see, this line here is going to be a 180. You're starting what looks like square at the back of the ring, a little step back or a little stagger, whatever you want to call it. First wind, go all the way back. Preliminary swing, bring the ball back, bringing the hands, and like I said, I've seen this in a lot of videos lately. People bring the hands as the ball comes back. They bring the hands around. Think about bringing the hands forwards first and then around. Should help tension a lot. Also keep the hands up and out a little bit. And then, as you see, the tendency here, you bring the ball across and the ball's going to drop in. There's not much tension. Orbit's pretty small. In preliminary swing, the orbit's not going to be huge, but just try to set it up a little bit more by, bringing the hands forwards and then around rather than just around. All right, because you can see you kind of go from, like, if you're looking from where you're winding, it looks like you're going from left sector to, 30, 45 after zero, instead of, like, getting that big wide orbit to start. And then as you go to the first wind, you're opening up pretty well. Like, so you step back, you open up the shoulders pretty well to 270. Looks pretty good. And then as you go through the rest of the wind, orbit getting a little bit better, wider out to the right side, your right side, camera view left side, and then you start to see the hands come forward a little bit more, and then you get that step up, and then this is a thing I think would help a lot, where like in this first wind, you can see you really open up the shoulders and connect early, and part of that is because your foot's back a little bit, but even on the step up, going into the second wind, I still want you to think about, because you can see it right here, your whole body starts to shift and point towards zero right here. Your eyes are pointing this way, but shoulders, body, everything's at zero. On this step up, I want you to think about still facing the right side, so facing 270, facing just opening up a little bit more with the shoulders. So like the hips are one thing, they don't need to be opened up. They're not going to be opened up, but opening up the shoulders a little bit more, especially as the ball goes through zero. As soon as the ball goes through zero, you should think about opening up that the shoulders to the right and kind of reaching back and trying to connect earlier at 180, because you can see as the step up happens, like I said, shoulders, hips, everything's kind of facing zero, except for the head. And you do try to open up a little bit, but since you're already kind of so square as the ball goes through zero, it's harder to do so. You can see this left arm kind of comes really high up over the head, left elbow up over the head, instead of kind of coming across the body. And then what happens is, I see this a lot, it's a very common thing. You see this left side coming across, right elbow's down, and then it looks like you're deep in the legs, deep enough, I should say, in the legs, bent knees. It looks pretty stable on that right foot. And then as the ball goes through 0, you send it through entry, you can see that left side leading. And it's interesting because throughout all the winds, you're right, your head's looking like 30, 45 degrees before 0, and then as the ball, or as you start your entry, you can see your head kind of start to lead and open up, which then also causes the left side to lead and open up. And you can see at this position here, as the ball's coming through 0, like pretty good connection through the left side. But if you look at the head and you look at the left leg and you look at the right leg, it's not quite connected. The ball's a little bit behind what your left leg is doing and what your head's doing. And then there's just so that left side's just leaning a little bit as the ball goes through 0. You are turning with the ball pretty well, but this is what I saw in your side view video. It looked like that head and that left shoulder does lead, because then as the ball gets to 90, you can see left side, left leg, head kind of pointing out, looking out into the direction of the sector. That right side's a little bit behind. So that's why I wanted this front on, head on view of the throw, because it looked more dramatic in the side view than it does here. I think you do have pretty good patience and stability in orbit. With this left side leading and pulling back a little bit, you can see this left shoulder is kind of pulling back before the ball gets to 0. You could think about casting the ball forwards and setting up this left shoulder a little bit more over this left toe. And just being a little bit more patient, letting the ball get a little bit more ahead, let the ball get more free. It'll make things a lot easier on you. Because like you have a pretty solid looking throw from what I've seen. It's just that ball getting free. So if you held this position here with the body and the ball was more in front of you, it's going to be a lot more efficient throughout the throw if you can manage it. And you got the speed and connection. But single support, you can see it's just kind of coming across the body. That left arm ball across the body. You catch, good first catch position, no over rotation here. You're actually getting some direction out in the sector, which is great. And then you catch, and then kind of settle into the legs. Left heel comes down. You're kind of working up as the ball's dropping, which is good. Decent counter. You're not really rising up too much either. But you see the same thing as you did in entry. You can see that head. You can see the tension in the face. Just looking at your facial expressions, that left side's still kind of coming across, or left arm's still kind of coming across the body. And then left leg straightens out a little bit. But yeah, you see just right here, left side's leading. It's a little tight. You can see some bend in the right arm because that left arm's coming across the body. So really try to straighten out that right arm. Make sure it keeps it straight. You want to kind of keep the ball square to the body, and like square to the shoulders, I guess, square to the torso. And with that left arm kind of coming across and this right arm a little bit bent, that means if their right arm is straight, the ball would be just a little bit further ahead. So try to keep that right arm straight. Yeah, that'll help that left side from pulling too much. The problem is people use that left side to find connection instead of letting the ball create the connection. But left foot and single support, not bad. It could get, depending on ankle mobility, could get that toe up a little bit more and get on the side of the foot, as you can see. Kind of just plops down, I guess. I'm lacking the terminology for that right now, but orbit's pretty good. If we go back to previous turn, it only shortens a little bit, not bad. Come to this turn, you see that left side leading, right side's trying to catch up with it a little bit more. You see that left leg, left knee's pretty stiff. You could think about, like I said, with that left toe getting on the side of the foot, and then as you get down on the toe, dropping that left knee forwards towards 180 or right sector, but dropping that left knee forwards, pushing that left knee forwards, getting a little bend in the knee, and that'll help you drop into the catch a little bit more. As you can see, that left knee doesn't really bend until there, so it's a little late. And then you catch. Tiny bit of over rotation that's going to happen if you shorten the orbit a little bit and lead with the left side, but still deep into the sector here. It looks like you really don't settle until about there. And then same sort of thing going through double support. What happens in entry is going to just kind of repeat itself throughout the turns. You see that left side pulling and leading a little bit. It's getting better slightly, but you can still see that left side kind of coming across the body. That right arm's down and bent. That right elbow's kind of tight towards the rib cage. Good stability though, for the most part. Just see that left side leading right here. Once again, that left side's on top, that right side's kind of under, that right elbow's down, kind of coming across the body. And then, but you're getting your hips up into it. Your counter looks pretty good in terms of hip height, in terms of up and down. It's pretty solid. You're not really dropping with the ball or rising with the ball. You're countering it well. The same sort of thing here. Ankle mobility, knee movement. Left knee's pretty stiff until you kind of go to step into the next turn and you see it bend a little bit. So think about, once again, kind of getting some drop towards 180. and that'll help you find a little bit better direction, let the ball stretch a little bit more towards the sector. But with that left side always pulling, it's going to be hard to feel that ball stretch towards the sector because you're kind of suffocating the tension. And you get a little wide with this right leg. It gets a little bit behind you. Once again, you can see here, right elbow is kind of bent. Right leg kind of getting that cowboy butt kick sort of style. Catch just before 270. You're starting to pop up in the legs a little bit because of the left leg at the end of double sport. But decent catch. Hips are under you. Now you start to see that left side shift back more. You're also tracking down the right side of the circle a little bit, kind of down the right sector line. Not a bad thing. Can be a good thing, but the big thing is just letting the ball get free and letting the ball complete its rotation, its orbit. If you're always ahead of it like this, that's going to kind of shorten your turn, and then you're going to end up tracking down the right sector line. So practicing from a pad is really nice because it's easy. But I would just be wary of, maybe try to get in the ring. It looks like there's some ice down there that you can't see out of frame. So maybe you can't practice in the ring right now, that's fine. But just make sure, emphasize it, speaking from experience, practice in the ring when you can to get used to the feeling and the restriction, I guess, of the circle. But yeah, left side shifts back a little bit. You can see that left side coming across the body more. Right side gets a little tighter. Left side gets a little tighter. Head leads a little bit more. Now your left leg starts to straighten out a little bit. You can see your left side really pulling up and back on the ball. Through here, you see that right side really down. Right arm really down. Right hip's with it pretty good though. But you see, yeah, just left side coming across the body in this position. At this point, like I said, if your ball's square to the body, the ball should be more out in here in this direction. Then you get that kind of butt kick, right leg in single support. And the same sort of thing, left leg stiff. Doesn't really bend until there, until you go to catch. And you are pretty even here, which is good. Some direction to the sector. You actually gain a little bit of amplitude, a little direction to the sector here. And then as you come through on the finish, like I said, if that left side leading, it's going to continue to lead. And looking at the finish at the start of the video, that left side is leading a little bit, and that's why you kind of like hook the finish. So as you go through, you can see as the ball goes through zero, you're extending up through the legs, up through the shoulder, pulling the ball across, and the ball's not in the right position for you to be doing this yet. So you got to catch, wait a little bit longer. The ball's got to get, once your foot's in the ground, you got to let the ball get a little bit more in front of you, a little more square with the body, and then you can finish, get this extension, because it's pretty close. It's just a little early. And then as you can see, you kind of hook it a little bit, not in the direction of the ball, but you can see the body kind of get pulled over because you're just not transferring all of your force into the ball. Yes, still kind of waking up this morning, but yeah, hopefully that makes sense, Doug. Let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to seeing your progress this outdoor season. Yeah, I think you got some potential. Go break 60 meters this year, I hope. So stoked to see it. If anybody else out there would love a technical analysis or any other online coaching services from your boy, go check out my website, gripandrip.co. Alrighty, thank you for watching. Until next time, Sean Don signing off.